The year's 2014. You see the showtimes for Annabelle, Delivers from Evil, the marked ones. You can't decide until you discover the one that stands above the rest, a Ouija. When I saw the trailers for this, I said to myself, oh wow, that's gonna suck. And then I moved on. But little did I know that when it came out, it would go over to gross $100 million at the box office. And the only question that I had was, why? And then it came to me. It was the PG-13 rating. Out of all of the horror movies that were playing, a Ouija was the only one that was PG-13. Teenagers are the highest percentage of moviegoers, and when it's Halloween, all they're gonna wanna do is go to see a horror movie. So they look online for the showtimes and see that everything is rated R except a Ouija. Companies like Blumhouse take horrible ideas and cut them down to PG-13 so they will make more money. Now today, I'm gonna be looking at some of the worst of PG-13 horror movies. Starting off with... You know exactly what you're getting into with these B-movies, and a Ouija was built up to be a Halloween hit. I went to go rewatch the trailer and thought, what the hell? They added in all these scenes that weren't even in the movie, and that's because if you use the scenes that were actually in the movie, you would see all the scary parts. This scene didn't happen. Nope, that's not how she found that footage. Oh, no, not in the movie. Don't know who that is. Oh, who's that? Oh, holy shit, this movie actually kind of looks freaky. Whoa, 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 what is all this? Oh, that's not in the movie. So the movie starts with a flashback between Debbie and Lane. They play with the Ouija board. That's about it. And now grown-up Debbie is burning the Ouija board because she's going through some shit. Debbie later tells her best friend that she started playing the Ouija board about 3 weeks ago. She seems worried. She won't go out. She won't even let Lane in the house. Okay, bye, best friend. Be careful. I love you, bye. Debbie apparently likes to eat leftovers alone in a dimly lit kitchen. Well, oh shit. Fun fact. This actor's name is Shelley Henning, and she would later go on to act in another horror classic, Unfriended.
Unfriended is a shitty movie.
I like how she gets spooked, so she starts turning the lights off. Hey look, the Ouija board's back. And oh, watch out, you're gonna break that thing. So she picks up the Ouija piece and her eye turns white. So she takes her Christmas lights and... So at the funeral, Douglas Smith shows up and has a chat with Lane.
I brought flowers. Debbie liked this kind.
They're really pretty. Do you want me to put them in some water?
No.
I'll just let him die like Debbie. Fun fact, Douglas Smith also starred in another horror classic known as The Bye-Bye Man. Lane goes up to Debbie's room and... Am I missing something here? Anybody? Did they untie her and set them back up? More importantly, she hung herself with Christmas lights. With all that force, it didn't unplug? Alright, then Lane looks at the Ouija piece, and Debbie's mother gives her some of Debbie's shit. Later on, Lane and Trevor come by Debbie's to do errands. So Trevor goes to try to fix the pool cover. Oh, look at those shadows. There's like 4 shadows. Oh. Lane sees a light flickering, and it's funny because it ends up being a really terrible IKEA lamp. So Lane is really hung up on Debbie's death and wants her and her friends to try and communicate with Debbie using the Ouija board. So they arrive to Debbie's house and this happens.
How are you even supposed to talk to someone using a board game? I mean, yo, can you hear me? Signal's real bad. I only got like 1 bar in here.
The writing is more scary than this movie.
And then you say these words.
Is the photo necessary? As if a spirit was trying to come in and be like, ah shit, that's not me. They make it painfully obvious that the spirit that they'd contacted wasn't Debbie because she asked the spirit her name and it just goes to D. So they assume that D is for Debbie, not Devil, Demon, Denny, DJ, Delicious Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkaccino.
What's my name? Dunkaccino! It's a whole new game. Dunkaccino!
So the lights go out and our genius protagonists decide to walk around the house. Why? This isn't even the search the house horror movie cliche because nothing has prompted them to do this. Nothing happens in this scene, so I'm just gonna skip over it. So Lane's grandmother sees the Ouija board at home and she's like, hi, I'm auditioning for the role for the old lady who knows everything about Ouija boards than the average person. Alright, so now Trevor's going through a tunnel and finds And then Trevor sees "Hi friend" written on the wall, which is what the Ouija board said when they used it. The same thing happens to Lane's other friend. Thankfully they didn't do this to every single character, which isn't saying much because they just grouped Lane and her sister together, and Pete just kinda sees it. So Lane's an idiot and thinks that Debbie is trying to reach them. Why would Debbie try to scare all of you? Why would she mess up Pete's desk? And why would she mess up your computer? Is that Debbie's hand? If you're a ghost, does that mean you can only communicate through jump scares? Speaking of, oh yeah, nothing like free sound effects. So these idiots start asking questions again. The spirit is sometimes hesitant on questions and Pete just all of a sudden knows that it's not Debbie. That was the giveaway? So he basically baits the spirit into believing something that never actually happened with him and Debbie. And that's how he proves it isn't her. They decide to ask who actually is in the board and it says Daisy. Lane looks through the Ouija piece and sees a girl with sewn lips, and the board says run because mother is coming.
HIFRIEND. Whoa. Hi, friend.
Isabel dies. I would like to move on with the rest of the movie without going over that scene, but I have the slight feeling that you guys are a bit curious, so here we go. After she takes a bath, she starts flossing, her mouth is sewn now. No, you didn't miss anything.
Bye-bye, man.
After that, Lane conveniently finds pictures of the people who used to live there. Pete then goes onto search.com to search the family and finds an HD article of the family. Turns out the spirit they were communicating with is named Doris Xander. Doris died in the house, but she has a sister that is still alive in the mental asylum. Oh, come on. You did not cast Lynn Shay to legitimize your terrible ghost movie. If you don't recognize Lynn Shay, she starred in every Insidious movie to date, and she's pretty well known for that role. Lynn says her mom was a medium and used to deal with a lot of spirits. Her daughter Doris wanted to help, so she would act as a vessel to give them a voice. Eventually it became too much, where the spirits kept talking to her, so her mom sewn her mouth shut and killed her. Then Lynn killed her mom, and that's why she's in the asylum. So Lynn tells Lane that she has to find Doris's body in the house and cut the sewing from her mouth, and hopes she can defeat Mother from there. Because as long as the channel is open, the spirit will get stronger and will eventually be visible beyond the Ouija piece. She cuts the sewing and Doris yells at Mother and obliterates her. And now we're all safe, but actually we're not. Doris ends up being in Pete's house and then Pete goes bye-bye. So Lane goes back to Lynn like, hey, I thought the movie was over. But it turns out Lynn hit her with the bamboozle switcheroony. Because when they went there, Mother was trying to stop them, but not kill them because Doris is the evil one. Got him. Lynn's motivation to do this? I don't know. You watch this scene.
Your mother wasn't the one that was evil. It was, I told her that I would help her. I heard the voices too. They tell you the most wonderful, awful things. And you're gonna hear them too. Little girl, you'll hear them soon enough because she's coming to get you too. I always told her because I told her. I always told her she's gonna be nice to me. Sure, I was gonna help her, and now she's gonna be nice to me. She's gonna keep her promises. She's gonna keep her promises.
Booga booga booga!
Trevor dies in the place you totally didn't expect him to die. Whoa, that was crazy. Hey look, we don't care that our friend is dead. Doris grabs Sarah and doesn't kill her.
As friends we've gathered, hearts are true. Spirits near, we call to you. Doris, I'm playing alone, you have to play!
Oh, bitch, all these rules!
This moron gets baited and starts getting possessed, and I'll let you guys watch this scene. That is Debbie. For those of you wondering, I'm going to yell now, so I recommend that you turn down your volume just a little bit. You good? Good to go? And where the hell were you the whole movie? Debbie's here to save the day, but not her other friends. Not her boyfriends. Screw them. In you go there. So Doris starts letting out smog or something. Sarah gets smacked against the wall, but Lane doesn't flinch. Debbie was probably holding her. She's pretty strong. And what's a bad movie without a bad ending? Before I get into the movie, I want to mention that this is actually based off of an urban legend from the book The President's Vampire. The chapter of The Bridge to Body Island tells of a blind albino orphan who was born in 1912 and became a serial killer who started making a pet dog out of eyes and tongues he collected from his victims. And I guess by practicing black magic, he would have psychic powers to be able to tell when people are thinking or saying his name, and his dog would help him track them down. There's more to the story than that, and some of the things I'm going to touch on throughout this video, but just know that literally none of this is covered in the movie. This movie is so bad and so unintentionally funny that parts has made the name and the confusing, unexplained mythology behind it completely hilarious. So, let's get right into The Bye-Bye Man. The movie starts with a flashback to 1969 where a man kills a bunch of people with a shotgun because he told them about the Bye-Bye Man.
Jane, it's me! Open up! Did you tell anyone?
Did I?
About the name.
Oh, yeah, I told Rick. He thought it was funny.
So then we're introduced to Elliot, John, and Sasha, who are college students renting a big old house off campus. So one night after Elliot goes to brush his teeth and Sasha finds this very romantic ransom note on the side of the bed, she hears what sounds like a coin falling onto the floor and then the door slams.
Hey, Elliot, that's not funny. Elliot?
I guess he couldn't really hear all the stuff that was going on because, you know, those beads were closed. So they have a party and Elliot's niece decides to go upstairs and into the bedroom. Okay, so in the bedroom there are 2 crawl spaces on either side. She opens the door to one side, and as you can see, the other door opens and the Bye-Bye Man's dog pokes his head out. The dog apparently has a name in the urban legend, but I'm just gonna call him the Bye-Bye Dog. And this actually kind of confuses me because along with the other weird things that may have happened, it kind of implies that the Bye-Bye Man is there, but he hasn't been summoned yet. I also don't really understand this reaction. It kind of implies that there's something there to be seen, but there obviously isn't. So the whole thing with the coin keeps popping up again and again until Elliot puts it into the drawer of the nightstand when it falls out, and it causes him to inspect the drawer where he finds the name carved into it. And this is how he's first introduced to the terror of the Bye-Bye Man. Sasha has a psychic friend, Kim, who wants to do a psychic cleansing in the house by performing a seance because, you know, those always go well. So some spirits start talking to her and she's telling her don't say it, don't think it, in reference to the name of the Bye-Bye Man. That's when we are treated to this wonderful performance.
Something's coming.
What?
They're saying, don't say it, don't think it. 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 Don't say it, don't think it.
Elliot says the name of the Bye-Bye Man, and this is where you'd assume that he has been summoned, because Elliot starts having visions of him. By the way, why would you hang up a coat like that? Like, seriously. You're purposely trying to freak yourself out? Anyways, more weird things start to happen, like hearing sounds in the middle of the night, and then when Elliot finds a bunch of slashes on the bricks outside.
They were already there, right? No. Like, it was Colin or one of those douches from last night.
You're so right. That is so Colin. You know, smoking weed, beer pong, slashing bricks. So all of the characters start seeing things and acting strange because of all these weird occurrences. Elliot starts to suspect that John and Sasha are having an affair behind his back. Also, you may notice some strange editing choices in this movie.
No, don't touch her. What? Don't touch her. You are crazy paranoid, bro.
See, now I find that to be kind of an awkward cut because the conflict is escalating, but then it just suddenly cuts away to some different scene. It'd be one thing if John just got up and stormed out of the room, but that's not what happens. He gets up and confronts Elliot. So now Sasha is apparently getting sick, which, okay, cool. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. It definitely leads to something, right? Wouldn't it be terrible if it didn't? Like, we just had scene after scene of her coughing, but it never actually developed into anything. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. She's just like, I'm sick. And you're thinking, oh shit, the Bye-Bye Man is making her sick. What's this gonna develop into? Don't say it, don't think it. You might develop a slightly irritating cough for a bit. So sure, sketching these dark drawings and having no memory of doing it. Oh, maybe she's come down with the case of cliches. And I have no idea what is going on with these coins. Elliot found another in the basement where he had an encounter with the Bye-Bye dog very briefly, but that's pretty much as far as it goes. Just, hey, coins falling around the house, and be careful, the dog is morphing into the wallpaper. So Sasha goes to see Mr. Daisy, the landlord, and ask him about the nightstand.
37 Oakdale.
Oh yeah, the two handsome guys. Are you with them?
You have a weird house, Mr. Daisy. Really, it's awful.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but they did sign a lease.
I love the response here. Oh, you hate the house? Well, that's just too damn bad, person I've never met. And honestly, Sasha, why would you start the conversation like that? What kind of response do you expect to get out of him? Oh yeah, probably has something to do with the curse on that house before I started renting it out, or maybe it has to do with the ancient Indian burial ground I paved over for the driveway. Now John's gotta hurry because he's late for class, so like a good student, he apologized to the professor, sits down, takes out his book, and starts browsing the photos on his phone. Then we see these pictures of the Bye-Bye Man in a train car. There are a lot of trains in this movie, and apparently in the urban legend, the Bye-Bye Man travels to his victims by train, which isn't explained in the movie at all. The movie makes a lot of references to trains, and it just might come off as random and confusing. Even now, knowing that backstory still doesn't change how weird I find this part where Elliot is dreaming of a train coming towards their naked bodies. So Elliot decides to figure out more about the Bye-Bye Man by doing a search on search.com. He gets a lot of help from the librarian who's really interested in the story for some reason, and it's here where the movie really misses an opportunity to try and piece together some of the backstory of the Bye-Bye Man, but instead it gives us the backstory of the guy from the beginning of the movie. Turns out he wrote an article that was never published about a kid who killed a bunch of people, and the kid said that the Bye-Bye Man made him do it. And then the writer Larry Redmond went crazy and killed the people he told, and then we get to see the flashback again.
Don't think it. Don't say it.
Mom, shut the door!
I like that. Mom, shut the door! As if she's gonna be like, oh right, because of the shotgun-wielding murderer who's right behind us. Good call. Again, the movie spends time explaining what happened to this writer after he heard about the Bye-Bye Man, but that's all as far as it goes. You don't learn anything about the Bye-Bye Man at all. Bye-Bye Man has some lame jump scares, but the most frustrating part is that fact that they never build any tension because poor performances and sequences that are supposed to be scary end up being kind of funny. Elliot picks Kim up and she sees an accident near the train tracks, so she gets out of the car and starts running to help the people. But it's just an illusion brought on by the Bye-Bye Man. And I swear to God, this is my favorite reaction out of any movie ever.
No, Kim! There's a train! A real train! No!
Let's see that again, please.
No! 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 No!
And then the following scene tries to build drama, but it's broken up by funny shit, like when Carrie Ann Moss shows up as the detective and John hallucinates her winking at him.
Sasha, what doesn't he want you to say?
Yes, Sash.
You, shut it!
So now Sasha is seeing shit, and that's Carrie Ann Moss with no eyeballs and a bloody mouth. It actually shows up again in the movie later on, but I believe it's just a reference to the urban legend, which says that the Bye-Bye Man would use the eyes and tongues from his victims to make his dog. But again, none of that is ever explained in the movie. Back at home, Elliot gets a call from the librarian, and we see that she's gone on her own little killing spree.
I've been having some really strange thoughts about the Bye-Bye Man since we talked.
Elliot, for some reason, decides to reach into Sasha's coat pocket, where he finds that the nightstand belongs to the widow of the writer of the article. So that's it. He's had enough. He's gonna end this once and for all. He's going to grab that nightstand and he's gonna take it outside and he's gonna throw it. Elliot decides to visit the widow of Larry Redmond. Yes, I'm sure listening to this song is definitely gonna help you forget about the Bye-Bye Man. So he gets to the house of Widow Redman, who is either very cheap or just didn't pay her electricity bill, and she's played by Faye Dunaway for some reason, still trying to figure that out. So Faye tells him the solution is to kill everyone he has told the name to, and then kill himself. She hands him a gun and insists it's the only solution. So he randomly figures out that if he doesn't fear the Bye-Bye Man, it takes away his power, and it completely works. All of his hallucinations go away by him just reminding himself that it's not real. Awesome. Cool. You figured it out. All it took was some old bat telling you to kill yourself. So now you're going to go back home and bring the gun with you? Wait, hold on. That's a horrible idea. I mean, you solved the problem here, so what's the gun for? Elliot drives right through a hallucination of John on his way home. After that, I'm just gonna let you guys watch this scene because it's so funny. So after he hilariously runs over the librarian who was out in the middle of the road for some reason, since his truck is pretty much totaled, Elliot decides to walk the rest of the way home and, oh yeah, don't forget the gun, you're totally gonna need that to not kill your friends by accident. He comes home and immediately starts yelling to them that whatever they're seeing isn't real, but as soon as he sees John stabbing Sasha, he wrestles him and shoots him. And then it turns out that it was actually Sasha that he just killed, his girlfriend instead. Probably would have been a good time to use that whole don't believe what you see thing you were yelling about 5 seconds ago. So the Bye-Bye Man takes shape and, I don't know, touches his forehead and gives him visions of something. Then right the heck out of nowhere, his niece and his brother, Andy, show up at the front door in the middle of the night to cheer him up. Alright, Elliot, go answer the door. Oh, yeah, and don't forget that gun. Elliot shoots himself, Denise finds the coins, and the film ends with John telling Carrie Ann Moss about the Bye-Bye Man.